And we're back for chapter 4 of Number the Stars. In the last scene, we saw Anne-Marie really struggling to contemplate what her role was going to be in this moment. She noticed that Mrs. Hirsch was missing, and she wondered if it had to do something with her being Jewish. And she thought about how all the Danes in Denmark were ready to protect the king. And she wondered if she and other Danish people would be ready to protect the Jews or the Jewish people in this wartime. Now we're going to start chapter 4. Chapter 4's title is It Will Be a Long Night. Alone in the apartment while Mama was out shopping with Kirsty, Anne-Marie and Ellen were sprawled on the living room floor playing with paper dolls. They had cut out the dolls from Mama's magazines, the old ones she had saved from past years. The paper ladies had old-fashioned hairstyles and clothes, and the girls had given them names from Mama's favorite book. Mama had told Anne-Marie and Ellen the entire story of Gone with the Wind, and the girls thought it much more interesting and romantic than the king and queen tales that Kirsty loved. "Come, Melanie," Anne-Marie said, walking her doll across the edge of the rug. "Let's dress for the ball." "All right, Scarlett, I'm coming," Ellen replied in a sophisticated voice. She was a talented performer. She often played the leading roles in school dramatics. Games of the imagination were always fun when Ellen played. The door opened and Kirsty stomped in, her face tear-stained and glowering. Mama followed her with an exasperated look and set a package down on the table. "I won't," Kirsty sputtered. "I won't ever wear them. Not if you chain me in a prison and beat me with sticks." Anne-Marie giggled and looked questioningly at her mother. Mrs. Johansson sighed. "I bought Kirsty some new shoes," she explained. "She's outgrown her old ones." "Goodness, Kirsty," said Ellen. "I wish my mother would get me some new shoes. I love new things, and it's so hard to find them in the stores." "Not if you go to a fish store," Kirsty bellowed. "But most mothers wouldn't make their daughters wear ugly fish shoes." "Kirsten," Mama said soothingly, "you know it wasn't a fish store. And we were lucky to find shoes at all." Kirsty sniffled. "Show them," she commanded. "Show Anne-Marie and Ellen how ugly they are." Mama opened the package and took out a pair of the little girl's shoes. She held them up, and Kirsty looked away in disgust. "You know there's no leather anymore," Mama explained, "but they found a way to make shoes out of fish skin. I don't think these are too ugly." Anne-Marie and Ellen looked at the fish skin shoes. Anne-Marie took one in her hand and examined it. It was odd looking. The fish scales were visible, but it was a shoe and her sister needed shoes. "It's not so bad, Kirsty," she said, lying a little. Ellen turned the other one over in her hand. "You know," she said, "it's only the color that's ugly." "Green!" Kirsty wailed. "I will never, ever wear green shoes." "In our apartment," Ellen told her, "my father has a jar of black ink. Would you like these shoes better if they were black?" Kirsty frowned. "Maybe I would," she said finally. "Well then," Ellen told her, "tonight, if your mama doesn't mind, I'll take the shoes home and ask my father to make them black for you with his ink." Mama laughed. "I think that would be a fine improvement." "What do you think, Kirsty?" Kirsty pondered. "Could he make them shiny?" she asked. "I want them shiny." Ellen nodded. "I think he could. I think they'd be quite pretty, black and shiny." Kirsty nodded. "All right then," she said. "But you mustn't tell anyone they're fish. I don't want anyone to know." She took her new shoes, holding them disdainfully, and put them on a chair. Then she looked with interest at the paper dolls. "Can I play too?" Kirsty said. "Can I have a doll?" She squatted beside Anne-Marie and Ellen on the floor. Let's pause there. Let's talk about these fish shoes. Now, remember from last chapter that a lot of resources were rationed in Denmark during the war. Remember that rationing meant that there wasn't enough to go around, so they had to give a little bit to each person. In this case, there wasn't enough leather for anyone's shoes, so they stopped making shoes out of leather or cowhide and started making them out of fish skin. Now just imagine what that would look like. Kirsty wasn't too happy about her shoe, but she was able to feel better. I want you to go back, maybe read or listen again, and think about the moments that made Kirsty feel better. What changed her opinion from the beginning of this chapter until now? Okay, let's keep reading. Sometimes, Anne-Marie thought, Kirsty was such a pest, always butting in. But the apartment was small, and there was no other place for Kirsty to play, and if they told her to go away, Mama would scold. Here, Anne-Marie said, and handed her sister a cutout girl doll. We're playing Gone with the Wind. Melanie and Scarlett are going to a ball. You can be Bonnie. She's Scarlett's daughter. Kirsty danced up and down happily. I'm going to the ball, she announced in a high pretend voice. Ellen giggled. A little girl wouldn't go to the ball. Let's make them go someplace else. Let's make them go to Tivoli. Tivoli, Anne-Marie began to laugh. That's in Copenhagen. Gone with the Wind is in America. Tivoli, 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 little Kirsty sang, twirling her doll in a circle. It doesn't matter because it's only a game anyway, Ellen pointed out. Tivoli can be over here or over there by that chair. Come, Scarlett, she said, using her doll voice. We shall go to Tivoli to dance and watch the fireworks, and maybe there'll be some handsome men there. Bring your silly daughter Bonnie. She can ride on the carousel. Anne-Marie grinned and walked her Scarlett towards the chair that Ellen had designated as Tivoli. She loved Tivoli Gardens in the heart of Copenhagen. Her parents had taken her there often when she was a little girl. She remembered the music and the brightly colored lights, the carousel and the ice cream, especially the magnificent fireworks in the evenings, the huge colored splashes and bursts of light in the evening sky. I remember the fireworks best of all, she commented to Ellen. Me too, Kirsty said. I remember the fireworks. Silly, Anne-Marie scoffed. You never saw the fireworks. Tivoli Gardens was closed now. The German occupation forces had burnt part of it, perhaps a way of punishing the fun-loving Danes for their heart-lighted pleasures. Kirsty drew herself up by her small shoulders stiff. I did too, she said belligerently. It was my birthday. I woke up in the night and I could hear the booms, and there were lights in the sky. Mama said it was fireworks for my birthday. Then Anne-Marie remembered. Kirsty's birthday was in late August, and that night, only a month before, she too had been awakened and frightened by the sound of explosions. Kirsty was right. The sky in the southeast had been ablaze, and Mama had comforted her by calling it a birthday celebration. Imagine such fireworks. Sorry, I'm going to mute here. Such fireworks for a little girl 5 years old, Mama had said, sitting on their bed, holding a dark curtain aside to look through the window at the lighted sky. The next evening's newspaper had told the sad truth. The Danes had destroyed their own naval fleet, blowing up the vessels one by one as the Germans approached to take over ships for their own use. How sad the king must be, Anne-Marie had heard Mama say to Papa when they read the news. How proud, Papa had replied. It had made Anne-Marie feel sad and proud too, to picture the tall, aging king, perhaps with tears in his blue eyes, as he looked at the remains of the navy, which now lay submerged and broken in the harbor. I don't want to play anymore, Ellen, she said suddenly and put her paper doll on the table. I have to go home anyway, Ellen said. I have to help Mama with the house cleaning. Thursday is our New Year. Did you know that? Why is it yours? Asked Kirsty. Isn't it our New Year too? No, it's the Jewish New Year. That's just for us. But if you want, Kirsty, you can come that night and watch Mama light the candles. Anne-Marie and Kirsty had often been invited to watch Mrs. Rosen light the Sabbath candles on Friday evenings. She covered her head with a cloth, said a special prayer in Hebrew as she did so. Anne-Marie always stood very quietly, awed to watch. Even Kirsty, usually such a chatterbox, was always still at that time. They didn't understand the words or the meanings, but they could feel what a special time it was for the Rosens. Yes, Kirsty said, agreed happily. I'll come and watch your mama light the candles, and I'll wear my new black shoes.